Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate in beating a bunch of fucking Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy podcast. I am Joe.
I am Caleb.
And today we're going to be reviewing the first Theatrhythm game, Final Fantasy Theatrhythm, or Theatrhythm Final Fantasy. I'm honestly not sure. I think it's Theatrhythm Final Fantasy.
I think you're right, yeah.
That's what the Wikipedia page says. There we go. Theatrhythm Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, it seems wrong, but then it's totally right for this and also for the Dissidia Final Fantasies as well.
Yeah.
So, Theatrhythm first, Final Fantasy second.
That's right. So, Schweiss, we reviewed Dissidia NT last week, so to say we got through this one quickly is an understatement. But also, Schweiss, look, okay, so this is where it started, right? I thought that the campaign of this game was literally just playing through the series because that was the only linear thing I saw.
Mm-hmm.
But then we had one single person message us on our, just one listener, one solitary individual. Sorry, I forgot your name already.
It was Shinru, wasn't it?
Was this? Does he go by a different name in the PSN chat?
I think he does. Yeah, I think it was him.
Okay, well, you can double check that if you want to. I don't have that in front of me, but anyway, one single person said there is in fact a final boss that gives you credits in Theatrhythm Final Fantasy, and it takes building up this rhythmia point. God, rhythmia. God damn it. Do you know how hard it is to Google how to gain rhythmia?
Yeah,
Because you're going to immediately get a bunch of health stuff that's like, do you have a heart problem? Like, a whole bunch of, like, fucking shit. How to gain rhythmia. Anyway, he said that, if you get 10,000 rhythmia, you suddenly go into a boss suddenly pops up, chaos suddenly pops up, and then you gotta defeat him, and then when you defeat him, you get final credits. And then he said for Theatrhythm Curtain Call that it was 40,000. Now, he was wrong about Theatrhythm Curtain Call. It was only 20,000, thank God. But what happened was I had already played through the series. I thought I was done last week. I was just going to wait for you to do the same thing. I moved on to Theatrhythm Curtain Call, and I was going through, like, every fucking song. There's a lot of songs, guys. It takes a long time. It took a lot longer than I thought it did to get through 200 songs in the second game. And I basically, by the time we got that message, I had already had, like, 17,000 rhythmia points in the next game.
Oh, wow.
And
So you were close, but you thought you were super fucking far still.
No, yeah, I have not played through every single song, and I already beat the second game. It does it like you can't. There's too many fucking songs to like even. There's so many fucking songs. And they're now about the Final Fantasies I don't really care for the music of. So like I already beat all the good like the main series games and all the spin-offs. I like the music too. Now it's just like. It's like Crystal Chronicles and like Lightning Returns left. Like that's all I have.
Really? Those are in there?
I put it down at that point. I was like, the trophy's not enough, and I already beat the fucking game. But so the 2 nights ago, found this out, and I looked in my old game, and I saw that I was like 1,000 away on the rhythmia. And so I went into expert mode on Sunlith Waterscape, which is not a song I like, but it's a song I'm very fucking good at. And I just kept on getting really close to perfect scores in expert mode. And I had lightning in my party, which gives you like a character boost point.
Right.
And so I was just like, I just built that up, tried it on ultimate mode a couple times, couldn't do it. I only ever beat one song in Ultimate Mode, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in gameplay, but it wasn't that one, believe it or not. I got very close every single fucking time. It was frustrating, and you get no Rhythmia points if you don't finish the song, so it was just wasted time. And then I built up that song, I beat the game, and then I popped in the next one. I was like, well, I'll play this for a little while. I got a couple hours. And then I fucking beat that game. So I beat both. I got the chaos fights in both of these games within like 2 hours of each other. And I just beat both the Theatrhythms in one night.
Nice.
And chaos pops at 20,000. I know there's a super boss called Feral Chaos that pops at 40,000. But you get credits on Chaos at 20,000 in Curtain Call. So Schweiss, I'm just letting you know, it's only 20,000. So you don't have to fucking kill yourself in Theatrhythm Curtain Call. I still spent a lot of time I didn't need to spend, frankly, trying to play every single song. But if you decide to do that, that's up to you, Schweiss. But yeah, 2 nights ago I beat both these games, and I'm about, as of this morning, because I woke up a little early, and that's why we're recording. We're recording in the middle of the day right now. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, it is.
I'm almost halfway through Mystic Quest as well.
Oh wow, how is that so far?
It's really easy. It's an old school RPG that's just really fucking easy. It's really forgiving. There's no random battles. The bad guys are on the floor, and once you clear them out, they're gone. So if you get stuck in a dungeon, if you can't go back to a boss, you can just walk through the dungeon without getting hit.
Oh, wow.
All the way back to town, heal up, get some more items, and then go up. I was stuck on a boss last night because I didn't bring enough healing stuff with me, and I was just well, it's just going to be... And I hate the layout of the map, so I didn't want to go through it again, but it was whatever. So this morning I just did it, and then I beat the ice guy, and now I'm almost going into the fire dungeon, so.
Jeez. Did you hear this week's Nude Clan yet?
I did hear the Resident Evil, yeah.
Do you, did you hear my story about, you heard my story about the Digimon game then? So I'm pretty sure I told it on there.
Yeah, you had to restart it over and over again?
Yeah, so I love how you're playing this game that's so forgiving that you're able to just walk back to town. But for me, I'm playing a game that I fucking get into the first random battle I find, I get weakened, but I survive. And then the second random fight is against this fucking tree guy, this plant fiber looking dude, and he kills me, and I have to start the game all over again. And then when I get to the save spot in the fucking game, I can't fucking save because I don't have space on my memory card. So I'm oh, it's a good thing I have a second memory card. First side of the second memory card says the same thing. Second side, it's oh, there's no save file. Would you like to create a save file? And I'm oh, sweet, yes. Loading bar pops up, 100%. That's error and cannot save. And I'm God fucking damn it, dude. I'm going to have to start this fucker again for the third time. Caleb Craig told me this was better than the other Digimon game. I don't think it is. And I've only played it for about an hour, but I think it's worse.
Technically, it's not better.
It's really not. Yeah. And it's slow, dude. Oh, it's so slow.
What is the system?
It's PS1. It's PS1.
Oh, fuck. Oh, that was a mistake, dude.
He just wants me to suffer, I think.
Was that not available on PSN?
No, it's shitty, so no.
Oh, fuck. I mean, I'm playing Mystic Quest on the Retron. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, the Super NES didn't really have... The Super NES is a fast little console. It didn't have very often, that I know of, any games that I've played on it, where, loading times are crappy, or, the battle speeds were super slow. It's FF6 is pretty fast. But this is FF9 level of slow. It's real slow. And I need to grind. I need to grind on those super slow battles so that I don't randomly fucking get offed in the wilderness in this vanilla dollar store brand of fucking Pokemon that I'm playing. But as far as Final Fantasy is concerned, I finished Theatrhythm, I think it was on Thursday or Friday maybe. So a few days ago, and I was going to move on to Curtain Call, but I stopped myself, and the reason why is because we're going to review these games separately. And at first we weren't sure if we were going to do that or not, and I think it's the right thing to do, because we did that with Dissidia and Dudekheim, right? Because 012 has the campaign to Dudekheim in it, and I knew that going in. But I want to kind of cover the differences between the games, gameplay, track listing, stuff like that, and I didn't want to mix up my experience with Curtain Call with the original Theatrhythm. So I only played Theatrhythm OG this week, but I did obviously finish it. I did a couple songs on the Chaos Shrine. I think I got like 6 or 7 of them done, and then I just went through. They're tough. They're not as tough as the expert mode songs. Those are face melt.
You mean ultimate mode or
ultimate mode? Yeah.
Yeah, expert mode's not that bad.
No, expert mode's pretty easy, actually. And, like, it makes going back to the... Because I did, like, 4 or 5 on...
I stopped playing the regular one because I was like, fucking, it's not fun. Expert mode's actually kind of fun.
It's not. It's too slow. And, like, I went back and I got S ranks on the first 3 games, track listings, because those are the ones I didn't get S in the first time through. And I was like, wow, this is too easy now. This is way too easy. And then I went in and did the ultimate mode, and I was like, oh my god, this is a little too hard. So then the middle ground was the like expert mode, and I was like, this is perfect.
What was your final time? Do you remember?
I think it was 7 hours and 30 minutes or something, 7.5 hours.
Right. I was at 6:16 for Theatrhythm.
So it sounds like grinding out a song you're good at is kind of the best way to burn through the game.
Yeah, well, I'd already played all the songs, and the Chaos Shrine stuff was like too hard. I did one song in Chaos Shrine mode, and I tried the next song, and I was like, fuck that. And so like I would just do the higher or the highest difficulty I could with Sunlit Waterscape, and then I did Theme of Love was my one song that I got the ultimate one. Those things are brutal, but
yeah, I think I did Terra's theme. I think I got like 3 or 4 of the ultimate ones.
Okay, nice.
But they're real tough though. It's a lot of it's just like Guitar Hero almost. You got to memorize the speed and like the angles. But
so, are you farsighted or nearsighted? I can't remember.
I am nearsighted, so like I can't see stuff far away.
Okay, because that's what I become when I play this game for more than like 30 minutes. I'm not kidding you, dude. The day that I played like 2 hours of Theatrhythm, and the night that I beat both of these games, I like could not see past like 3 feet in front of me for like an hour. And the first night I played this first game, I was fucking like, I had like a headache and shit, and like, I don't know, man. I just think my eyes can't fucking do this game. So I don't think I'm ever gonna get like the high levels, even if I like went into this game again, like those high level things where things are just like zooming at you so fucking fast, like, and this little tiny screen that's like 1.5 feet away from my face, like, it's not happening. I don't think, like, my body cannot handle this game for very long. So, I'm sure that some people like found this game pretty easy. I'm not a rhythm game kind of guy. Like, I play the real guitar pretty well. I can't play Guitar Hero worth shit. No matter how much like I do it, because it just feels counterintuitive. This is a little bit more intuitive, but at the same time, it's like I'm never gonna get like expert mode at this fucking type of game ever. It's like this in platforming, although this is a lot more like forgiving and fun, and so thank God. So I was able to do it, but yeah, recognize that you're probably better at this type of game than I am, and also you're already fucking nearsighted, so you can't, you know.
Yeah, when I get done playing it, I just can't see anything.
Yeah, there you go.
I stand up and it's like I'm just blind, you know. And then I'm like, well, fuck it. I guess I'll just play the game some more.
Well, we got two Nintendo DS games in front of us, and I'm just like, oh fuck, am I gonna be able to see at the end of this month?
Yeah, that's
I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
That's like my worst fear. Well, not my worst fear. It's one of them though. It's like I just lose my sight. Because with the love of music and stuff like that I have, I've often thought for like about 2 seconds, which would be worse, losing your sight or losing your hearing, and immediately I'm like, no, it's sight. Because hearing, you can still feel like beats and stuff. Like we all saw Baby Driver, like that. His like buddy, his roommate guy, his mentor. He's
and Mr. Holland's Opus, right?
Yeah, they can still feel the music. So I'm like, yeah, no, fuck that. I'd rather go deaf than blind any day of the week. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we'll see, I guess. It was tough at times though. I mean, mostly with the expert level stuff. Like I barely even got into like messing with my party until I started doing those, and then I was like, oh yeah, I do need these abilities to cure myself so that I don't die, because this game's suddenly extremely hard, but
no. So let's get into it, I guess. We'll talk about a little bit of development.
Let's do it.
All right. So, Theatrhythm Final Fantasy was proposed by none other than the same person who proposed a multiplayer fucking Final Fantasy game, fighting game, to Tetsuya Nomura. His name is Ichiro Hazama, who, after working for Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, envisioned this type of game, I guess, to be made for the Nintendo DS. But this game was, of course, made for the 3DS, or the 2DS, if you're me, too cheap for a 3DS. And so, I guess they had problems with limitations on the DS console.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting, because this game doesn't seem to be, like, that intense on the system. I can't imagine that this game is really just like too much for the original Nintendo DS.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's some really cool stuff that the DS was able to do. I mean, when we played that Chocobo Tales game, that was a regular DS game, right? And that we had like the ability to blow on the microphone and shoot darts. Like that's crazy shit. That's some crazy bullshit that game was allowed to do. So like I'm surprised they weren't able to do it. I wonder if it's maybe not so much graphical, but maybe the limitations when it came to the actual rhythm and like the response time and stuff. I don't know, but it's because the DS is still pretty damn good. So that is surprising. That's very surprising.
Yeah, so for the music selection, apparently it came out of a staff meeting for Dissidia Final Fantasy. And they basically, they figured out, what were the popular songs to the staff for the games. This is odd because, some of these song selections, I'm like, what the fuck? But, especially in the first game. But apparently these were, staff-chosen favorites of the Final Fantasy games. And so, I guess, it came out of a meeting from Dissidia. The Dissidia games and the Theatrhythm games seem to be very linked. They were doing, a throwback fighting game. They're both created by they're both the ideas coming from the same dude through Tetsuya Nomura, who would then take them and make them actually, happen within the company. Mm-hmm. The music was selected via a meeting for Dissidia. They're both obviously DS games. Interesting.
Well, Dissidia is not DS, but they're handheld games. At the very least.
Sorry, handheld games.
They got the Chaos and Cosmos thing. That was also...
Yep, they do have the Chaos and Cosmo thing, which was, of course, brought by Nomura and Hazama, and they wanted to continue using them from the Dissidia games. So... that's just what they did. And so they filed the trademark at the end of 2011. I guess they were going to originally do it only in Japan. and they obviously didn't do that. And it was developed by the company Indie Zero, and the character monster designs were by a company, I think it's a company called Monster Octopus, who have worked with Square before on the Kingdom Hearts avatars found in Kingdom Hearts Mobile and Kingdom Hearts Recoded.
Oh, cool. So we'll see their work again in about 10 years when we get through the Kingdom Hearts games. I think I bought Recoded. I think that's one of the ones that's over on my shelf right now. Because I have like a fucking... It's like a wall of DS games, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude. So many fucking DS titles for this show. And now we're through we're through a lot of them, but I think that's
still
one
got
of
2 left. We got 4 Heroes of Light and Explorers. I say we. You actually have 3 left.
Yeah. I think we should face off against each other in Curtain Call because that's still online. Like we can still play against each other.
It's not. That option's not available to me. You unlock certain things. I don't know what it takes to unlock that. You unlock certain parts of the main menu via doing things in the game.
Damn it.
But yeah, I don't know. I'll look into it. So the game on the first week of release sold 70,000 copies. Got like a 36 out of 40 on Famitsu. And apparently, in the end, like by February 4th, 2013, I guess that version had sold 163,000 copies. So generally favorable reviews, like 8 out of 10s kind of everywhere.
Yeah, it made Nobuo Uematsu cry. So I mean, fuck the 8 out of 10. That's a 10 out of 10 right there.
Yeah, there you go. Well, he's just like, oh, my music is so good.
Yeah.
Cry.
It's like me listening to and laughing at my own podcasts at work. It's like the same level of dick.
Hey man, I do that all the fucking time. All right. Yeah.
Like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, myself. Don't worry about it.
It's the first 13 Final Fantasy games. Because this was released. This was a game that came out in 2012. Interesting, it doesn't have any of the 14 tracks. Interesting. The composers that it features then are Nobuo Uematsu, Masashi Hamauzu, Hitoshi Sakimoto, Kumi Tanioka, and Naoshi Mizuta for those games. And that's pretty much all I have about the development. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know anything else about it.
Yeah,
but,
it was.
Do you want?
It was one of them that I had heard of, and not as much as, Dissidia, because I think Dissidia is like kind of. As we've talked about, Dissidia is very similar to this game, and it's kind of throwbacky style. But that one I can see being one that's more talked about, just because it's like, oh wow, it's a fighting game. We get to fight against these characters that we have loved for so many years. And in this one, it's a similar kind of throwbacky style, but it's more music based, so it's less like actiony. But I have heard, and of course we've heard through our community that we've built through the podcast, like people talking about Theatrhythm, and they've been talking about it for years. But outside of that, not really much. Caleb Craig is my only other person that I can be like, hey, like, have you played this? And with Dissidia, he had, and with Theatrhythm, he hasn't. But he wants to. He asked me to borrow it.
I remember Curtain Call coming out.
Yeah, well, we remember Curtain Call coming out.
First year of our podcast, yeah.
Because it was the game of the year for Ultima Final Fantasy in 2014.
That's right. It was. So yeah, you want to get into story real quick?
Yeah, real quick. Let's get into story.
All right. Okay, so story. There's not much, to say the least.
No.
There's an opening crawl and an ending crawl. The opening crawl says, basically, I could just read it verbatim, but I don't have it in front of me. It basically says, Chaos and Cosmos are at an eternal war. They gotta get their heroes from each world, from all the worlds together to fight for good, I guess. And they gotta fill up the music crystal in order to save the fucking world. Something like that.
Yep.
And so you do that. You play a bunch of songs, and then I figured it was done after the series was over. But apparently, if you get enough of these points, you get to I guess you fill up the music crystal, and then you fight Chaos, and I guess you're weakening him with the music crystal, and then you win, and then everything's in balance again. So, interesting thing that they, do you think this is canon with the Dissidia series?
I mean, why not? You know, why the fuck not?
Just one of those cycles was just a music cycle.
Yeah, it was super, super awesome and super chill. So I guess the space between Chaos and Cosmos is what they call rhythm, and that is what gave birth to a crystal that controls music. And Chaos is trying to disrupt it, and you have to use the Rhythmia, which is the currency in this game, to return it to normal. And so it's very similar in the banding together people from the series, Chaos versus Cosmos. There's some sort of alignment shift between good and evil, and it's imbalanced, and you're basically setting things right by balancing it out again through the power of music. Sounds like a plot for a cheesy, like an extra cheesy version of like A Star Is Born or something like that. Like, through music, anything is possible.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's played as a joke, which it totally is. Because it's just an excuse to have a game, bro. It's to have a Rhythmia game,
yeah,
bro.
You know, and I like what they did with this one more than at least the original Dissidia, because they were just like, fuck it, man. Here's like 10 lines of dialogue, and this is why we're doing it. Now go do it.
Yeah, there you go. And then we did it. And we beat it.
Yeah, we fight Chaos, and things are kind of returned to normal, and even more beautiful music can be heard throughout the land, is kind of what it hints at. And then it's like, now go play those more beautiful songs in face-meltingly fast speed.
Modes.
Yeah. It's the
challenge
fucking
modes and Chaos fights.
Yeah, the challenge mode is like the I don't know, like the Damage Incorporated or the Damage Incorporated solo section, the breakdown, like almost at the end of the song. It's just like, don't you want to be able to play that with your fucking DS stylus pen? Like,
so yeah, that was the I mean, it's fine. It is what it is for the game. It's the exact same thing for Curtain Call, by the way.
Oh, I figured.
Yeah, there's no difference. I don't even know if there's a difference in the opening and closing crawls. But yeah, not much to talk about there, which is fine because it's not that kind of game. But yeah, it exists. I guess there's a crawl.
Yeah, the only thing I wish that Curtain Call would have had is the fucking Lose Yourself song on Eminem's Curtain Call. You know, like I think playing that on here would be pretty sweet. You know, just do 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 do, or no, that's the other one. Whatever that song starts out as. Yeah, and you get like Eminem as a little character, you know. And then he's just fighting against every other rapper. That's the people like trying to beat him down. It's literally everyone else.
That was before Square Enix coupled with giant pop stars.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that would have been pretty sweet. I would have been down for that.
You're not down for Ariana Grande being a playable character in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius?
Not really. No.
Yeah. No.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Cool.
Yeah, Eminem's cool, you know. Ariana Grande is just whatever.
Yeah. All right. So, what did you think of the story, Schweiss?
I thought it was fine. It's just kind of a harmless little fun story. I mean, this is one of those games where it's one of those random games in the series. We've talked about this since the beginning. I know this because I'm going through painfully listening to our first season. And by the way, to whoever reviewed us and said listen to the first year's worth of podcast and couldn't do it anymore, I get you, right? It's unfortunate that you didn't make it past that, because I think we are much better at podcasting, even if the games we're talking about aren't as popular or whatever. But
yeah,
it's just kind of a whatever story. I mean, and for us, the big thing we were focusing on was story. That's why we historically have put Final Fantasy V above Final Fantasy IV. It's because 4 had a much more engrossing story and it was great in all these ways, but then it did take backsies at the very end. Whereas 5's story was extremely impactful. But every so often, we run into a game that's just gameplay. This one and Chocobo Tales, very similar in that way, where it's not about the story at all. The story is whatever. It's about having fun and playing the game. And this game's plot is fine. It's probably on par with it's even more simplified than Chocobo Tales. It knows what it is, and it doesn't shy away from that, but it just tosses you right in and lets you play. I think it's fine. It works.
All right, so let's talk about gameplay.
Let's do it.
So Schweiss, this is a rhythm game, so basically things come at you on the screen. You're supposed to do things with the stylus, the Nintendo DS stylus, which is the little pen thing that you get with the console. And that's the game. There you go. There's 3 different gameplay modes. There's series mode, where you play through the whole series. You play 5 songs. Opening, closing prelude, a battle piece, a map piece, and then one of the, I guess, big pieces that are there. Remember what that was?
Yeah, it's the field. It's the field music, the battle music, and the event. Those are the 3. Yeah, so just any dramatic part of the game, and they usually nail it on those. There are a couple that I thought were kind of chicken shit, but whatever.
There were ones there were some map themes where I was like, what the fuck? Why did they pick this one?
Yeah.
But yeah, you get five pieces from every game. You go through the game in order. And then at the end you get a little trophy saying that you beat all the ones in the series.
Yeah.
And then as you play that and gain rhythmia, you open up as you play those songs, you open up challenge mode, where you can play the next difficulty level in that song. There's 3 difficulties. The first difficulty is basic, which is what you play the series mode in. The second difficulty is expert mode, and then the third difficulty is, I think it's ultimate mode or whatever. Once again, I only got one of those.
Yeah, I just did one just now. We took a 5-minute break, and I did Terra's, and that's the only one I've done. They're tough.
So you claim to have done 3, but
I think I did. I think I did 3 or 4 of the other ones, and then I did a ton of the chaos.
See, the other one is what I lived in for about half the game, because I was sick of when I was gaining points, rhythmia points to beat it. I was just they give you a little bit more points, and the game is more fun on expert mode.
Yeah.
The basic mode is really easy.
Yeah, at first you're like, oh wow, I got an A, I got a B, I got an S, and then when I got to Final Fantasy 3, I think I got 2 A's and an S on the tracks there, and then from then on it was almost all S's, and then occasionally I'd get an A, and I'm like, all right, this is. I wasn't that great at it in the beginning, but now I'm amazing at it according to the game. So
yeah, there's actually S, double S, and triple S.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've gotten double S on quite a few songs in both of these games.
Are you sure there's double S in this one?
I got triple S in one song in Curtain Call. So I don't know if triple S is in this one, but I've also never gotten a score perfect enough for triple S in the first one. So Like that one is like 90% critical note hits in order to get, and like no misses. So you got to get a perfect chain and mostly critical in order to get triple S ranking. Like, I've done it on one song. It was, of course, Sunlit Water Fluff or whatever. Whatever the fucking song is at 13.
Oh, so you did that one in Curtain Call as well? Is that what you're saying?
I did, and I just destroyed it in Curtain Call. Because the gameplay is slightly different, and for some reason, like, it was slightly easier in the second game for me. But in this thing, there's a battle mode, there's the event mode, there's the field music. And what you have are these notes going from left to right on the screen for two of those modes, and then another mode, it's like zigzaggy and circular. And there's basically like three different buttons you can hit. One is you just tap the motion sensor thing, the motion pad, touchpad. There we go. You tap the touchpad when there's a red note. When there's a green note, you hit the touchpad, you hold it down, you move up and down with the squiggly line, and then you have to let it go at the right time. And then there's a yellow slash directional thing, so you have to like hit the stylus in a certain direction when these things pop up on your screen. And those are the three basic notes that you have to deal with. Sometimes there's like a little green, like there's a combo where you hit the green thing and it has a big line of ziggy zag, and then there'll be like a slash note at the end. And then with the fucking ultimate modes, man, they get zany with like how quickly like you have to be switching between these things. Mm-hmm. But overall, yeah, it's pretty simple in that way. And on the battle map, like, your characters are like quote unquote fighting monsters via how good your hits are or whatever. You are judged based on you'll either miss the note, you'll hit a bad note, which means you like hit near the note but didn't hit it quite right. You'll hit it good, where it's close enough. Great, and then there's critical, which critical is like perfect, right? You hit the note right on the beat, you hit it exactly the right way. And all those kind of build up into a thing where you finish the song out, you get a certain amount of critical notes, and basically you can like fill out the whole song, and like you just like the more you clear on a song, the more criticals you get, the higher score you get in each song. It all adds to the rhythmia pointage that eventually lets you beat the game.
Right.
But yeah, series mode, challenge mode is where you take the series mode stuff and you just play them again. But eventually you'll open up Chaos Shrine, which there are these optional super bosses that have other totally different songs from the games. And you play those, and they're very difficult.
Yeah, they're tough. I also pulled open the game just while we're sitting here, and I unlocked in challenge mode the Encore. Encore mode there as well, so I can play Dancing Mad from FF6. That's pretty bitchin'. I kind of wish that was part of the FF6 main game, though. That was one of the ones I was like, really? Fucking no Dancing Mad? That's like one of the best songs in the series. Like, I think it's better than One Winged Angel as far as like epic final boss fights. But I'm looking at my Chaos Shrines, and I got through 6, and I have the 7th one. So there's a lot in here. I have no idea how many fucking Chaos Shrines there are. Like, no clue. But like we barely tapped into the extra content in it. And the only reason why I didn't play more of it is because I know that Curtain Call is supposed to be slightly improved and very similar in a lot of ways. So I'm like, if I'm going to go ham on one of them, I'm probably going to do it on Curtain Call. You know, because I've heard that it's a little better. I don't know, though.
There's I'm gonna avoid comparing until we get to Curtain Call.
Okay.
But there's a single slight difference in the actual gameplay that drives me fucking nuts in Curtain Call. But in this version, I had like no problem with how it's the green. Fuck it. It's the fucking green buttons.
Yeah.
So the green, they're done slightly differently in Curtain Call, and it's less intuitive. Probably because I played this version first. In this one, you're like basically just following along with the line, and it's cool, bro. And that's just what happens.
Mm-hmm.
In the second one, it's like got like a, I don't know if it's like super sensitive or not sensitive enough, and like it always tells me that I like lifted up on the stylus when I didn't. And shit like that in the second one. It drives me absolutely insane.
Huh. Well, my gripe with this game is whenever I get the gold. So when you're playing the game and you're going through the songs, occasionally you'll run into opportunities to either activate a summon when you're in a fight to do extra damage to the baddies, or when you're on the field, you can activate a chocobo. And it like speeds you across the field, and I guess it makes the song faster. I'm not really sure what it does for you, but to activate those things, you have to get like certain combos or like a certain amount of notes within a time frame, and they'll be discolored. I think the summon is like blue, or no, they might both be blue. It's like a discoloration of everything that's going on. But the fucking dude, when I get the chocobo and it's a gold one that like I have to hold down. I don't know why, but like I can't. Like there have been multiple times where I'm trying to get an S rank on a song, and I'll fuck up because of the stupid chocobo thing. Because my brain just can't accept that that's like one that I have to hold down. Like I can't fucking see it. Almost it's so weird. And like I eventually overcame it, but at first I was like I can't fucking tell what's what in this fucking game sometimes, man. Like what is that? What the fuck am I looking at here? Like it's just like there's like a block, and it's just when it's gold. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but it's that purse thing or whatever from like a year ago. I was like, is it gold or is it black? I was like, I don't fucking know. I can't see a purse. Like that's what this game made me feel like. But it was only for like the first little while, and then I eventually got through it. But there's a couple things that like I'm like, wow, really? Like. The fucking arrows when it's gold, I'm like, I can't see that shit on expert. It's going too fast.
That's very interesting. I've never had a problem with that ever. Like,
I don't know. Okay. It's probably the alcohol. I just need to stop drinking.
Don't drink every day when you're playing this game.
Yeah. Dude, did you turn the 3D on at all?
I don't have a 3DS.
Oh, that's right. 2DS. You got a 2DS.
Yeah, because I'm a cheap fuck. That's what happens.
Yeah, I forgot.
How was it? How was the 3D?
I had it off most of the time. I don't know, man. The 3DS, it's cool, and I like the 3DS a lot as a 2DS instead, because I like how it folds. I feel like electronics used to be amazing when they would fold, and now we have like... I've got my super expensive phone, and whenever I drop it, it's like, oh, there's another crack on the screen. Oh, there's another chip out of the side. Like, but back in the day, we had the flip phone. You drop it, and it's like nothing happened because it didn't land on a 6-inch screen. It landed on a fucking giant piece of plastic where the screen is underneath. Like it's protective, So I love the 3DS for that, but the 3D part of it, I don't know if I'm really feeling like. It's kind of cool looking, but it doesn't make it easier to see. It's just kind of difficult. I don't know, like, and it was
a gimmick at a time. I guess like 5-6 years ago. No, longer than that. Yeah, 5-6 years. No, longer than that. Fuck that. Almost 10 years ago, right? Yeah, because 10 years ago was Avatar. So, at that time, the 3D gimmick was real. It came back with a fucking vengeance. Remember, everything was in fucking 3D, and they still kind of have it now, but it's almost like a afterthought. Like, at least with the movies, and the movies were in 3D, and then then they created this 3DS thing, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's all like part of a it was a push for 3D in those years, man.
Yeah.
So Nintendo was capitalizing on that. They had their crazy technology that made it so that you didn't have to wear glasses to have the 3D, which is still pretty cool, I think. But yeah, it's just one of those crazy things.
Yeah, one of the gimmicks of the times.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's kind of cool looking, but I feel like if you move too much to the side, or if you move at all while you play, it kind of adjusts like 3D glasses do, and it can lead to some problems. So I don't know, man. Fucking A.
I don't know. Maybe my eyes would have adjusted better if it wasn't like, fuck, man. These games really fucked up my fucking eyesight. It's so nice playing. I play Mystic Quest like a good 10 feet away from the TV. So it's just nice to just be looking at something where I'm supposed to be looking at something, and not in my fucking face.
Yeah, not right up on top of that shit.
Destroying my vision. Taking all these fucking Nintendo 3DSs that have destroyed all the visions of the children's.
Yeah. We need to make them illegal.
I don't know. I do believe in staying, further away from the TV. I remember fucking going over to your place and be like, dude, this is way too close. You kept on scooting your couch. You would always fucking scoot your couch right fucking next to the TV, and I was like, oh, we didn't know you had vision problems at the time. I just thought it was insane.
Oh, I knew.
You knew you couldn't see, and you were like, oh, I'm not gonna go to the eye doctor.
It's why go to the eye doctor when I could just scoot the couch closer to the TV? Fucking, which one's cheaper? I'd give you 3 seconds to answer. Yeah, you know what? Now now we got the couch all the way on the back of the wall, next to where the stairs are. So now I just sit on the floor. I don't move the couch forward anymore because the couch we have now is
you just put on your glasses.
The couch we have now is 800 pounds heavy, so I can't do that. So I just sit on the floor instead.
Wow,
it's
God
simpler times though. Simpler
just
times.
Wear some fucking glasses, man.
Lighter couches. Yeah, though I feel like you're lucky you didn't get the bounty hunter illness that you got when you were playing that for Nude Clan. You had to become medicated. You had to medicate yourself to fucking play it.
I got the bout.
Yeah, that sounds like watery bowels to me or something like that. I've got the bout, chronic case of the bout. But I turned the 3D off because I don't know, it just makes it a little bit harder. It looks really cool, and I like the way it looks, but for a game that's totally based on timing, I don't care for it. And I wish we could do something with the DS and have it on a television, and still tap on the DS pad or whatever, the screen, but just have it projected a little bit bigger. Because I agree, there were times where I was I'm right up on this thing. And I just wish I could kind of relax a little and, lean back and then just play it a little more casually without having to, scrunch down and look at this 4-inch screen.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the gameplay in here is pretty damn good. And I was surprised by it. I thought, because everyone has always told me, just don't worry about Theatrhythm, just get Curtain Call. That's one of the things I've always heard as we've been approaching it slowly over time, over the last 5 years. And I was kind of surprised by how much I liked this game. I think it's pretty damn smooth. I think it's very intuitive with the controls. I like the soundtracks. I like the way it changes itself up. And the harder difficulties are easier in a lot of ways because I find myself tapping the screen to notes that aren't actually on the screen because I'm trying to play along with the beat. And that's when you're feeling it and you're into the song and into the style of play that you're getting is when you start hitting it when it's not even there. Thankfully, unlike Guitar Hero, this game's not going to punish you for that, which is very nice. Because in Guitar Hero, if you played a note that wasn't there, it'll fuck you up and say you missed the note and count as an error. But in this, you can tap the screen as much as you want as long as you tap it when you're supposed to.
Right.
So that was nice, and I think,
the music selection
those are really,
is usually
those and
pretty
Rocksmith
good.
are kind of the only rhythm games I've ever really played. I mean, we had some weird ones in Chocobo Tales, I guess, but those were like faux rhythm games because I thought it was a rhythm game, but really it was a just move your ass and be on this tile when the rhythm goes off game, which is why I sucked so much ass at it the first few times I played it in that game. But I don't know. I think overall this is a pretty fun little rhythm game. I have limited to no experience with any other kinds of games like this, except for the ones with instruments or fake instruments. But I think this one stands up, and I was pleasantly surprised. And the DS, dude, the DS is like, it's just fun. Like, all of the games for the DS that we played thus far, except for maybe some of the Crystal Chronicles that made me lose my fucking mind, have just been fun. Like, there's just fun little semi-gimmicky things about them, and it's just a good time, you know. And this reminded me of when I was going through Chocobo Tales a little while ago, and I was like, this is just fun. There's nothing else really about it. It's just a fun game to play. And that's a great sign.
I agree. Yeah, so I think that I think overall it's a pretty good game. Curtain Call that came out like 2 years later was certainly an improvement as far as the selection of tracks and stuff, and we'll get into that when we get to the next game. But obviously I don't think they were expecting much of this game. It didn't sell like super well. I don't even know if I had knowledge of this game before Curtain Call came out, but maybe I did. I can't remember, honestly, at this point, because I only remember Curtain Call coming out. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. I don't remember. Maybe our old selves might have mentioned it once or twice. But interesting thing. Oddly enough, it's like it's a retrospective on the series, but it's only through 13, and it's only through the main games. Which is obviously why, like, I'm sure fans were like clamoring for an expansion to this game, because it is like, it's a good time. It's a fun game. They made a mobile version of this game on iOS that existed for a little while. It totally makes sense. It's like one of those things. It doesn't have a story. It's just fun. It's just something to turn on and like enjoy some music and have a good time for, like, you know, your lunch break or something like that. So and for Square Enix to strengthen the base on their series and keep it going. It does all those things, and I think it does it well. And the gameplay is very smooth and intuitive, and I liked it. I certainly wish there was more songs in this version, and there's some like song choices I think are weird. There's not even a point in like having to go into the music category of our reviews, because, you know, it's just the music of the series that I dig most of the music. There are some things though, like the map theme that they chose for FF10 I thought was fucking weird.
Yeah.
Sunlit Waterscape, although I'm amazing at playing it, to be fair, that's not like a track from FF13 I would have picked for anything. Just some a couple odd choices, a couple like, why isn't this song included choices. Like, I don't think 10 has To Xanarkand.
No, with 10, you do Xanarkand with, I think that's the outro or the intro song. So, like, when you line up a song to play in campaign, you get to play, like, the intro music, basically, or, like, the theme for that game. And it's just, like, a weird little mini-game where little balls are coming at your crystal, and you gotta like swat the little balls away by tapping the screen when they show up, and you get some rhythmia that way. I think that's where one of the 9 ones, or where Xanarkand was. But yeah, it wasn't in the main game. Like, how fucking weird.
FF9 also had a weird choice.
Yeah, like
for one of them.
FF9. I mean, I don't know. I like the tracks overall, but I do agree. There were a few where I was like, why is it this song? Like, how many times are we going to get, you know, Eyes on Me? I think I did Eyes on Me like twice. I think they had it in one of the fucking pre-game things. The event
music for 8.
And then the event music, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just some odd choices in there, but mostly the right choices, I'd say. for most of the games. Although, like, yeah, I love the soundtrack for 10. I love the soundtrack for 9. I felt like those were like, what? You picked these 3? But outside of that, yeah, it was fine. Character roster, I thought was cool. I know there's like a couple ones that you can open up. I'm not sure what they are because I never opened them up. But if you play with that character, you get extra points. And like, did you ever use the system to like use the item system or anything? I never like figured out like what the fuck that was even supposed to do. You know?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, once I got to some of the more expert level songs, I did start playing around with like items and equipment for my characters, but for the most part, I don't think you really need to finish this game. Like, if you want to get really good at this game and start doing some of the hardcore stuff, then yeah, you'll need it, because you'll need those abilities and like stuff to cure yourself and keep yourself alive in some of these tougher songs. But just playing through the main campaign and then a couple of the chaos battles, I didn't really need to. For me, at least. I don't know. Did you play around with that aspect much?
No, not at all. And so I was wondering, like, if there was even any like point to it, because you just play the game and it pretends like you're doing all these battles and everything. I mean, come on, you're just swiping around. There's no like, I can't press start and then use a potion, which would have been nice for like the super crazy modes. So I don't even know how like that system works, but there's another system of item use in there that I guess we don't understand and can't really expound on.
Yeah.
But yeah, music selection was good. How do you think the game looked?
I think it looked pretty good for what it is. I liked the way, like the shininess of the notes and stuff like that. Like, I thought it looked pretty cool. It's a little bit chibi-esque, and the 3D is not my favorite. But other than that, I think it's a pretty good-looking game. A pretty good-looking little 3DS game. And we've mostly played DS games. I'm pretty sure exclusively DS games for this podcast. So, like, it's nice to... Well, except for maybe Tactics Advance 2. That might have been 3D. No, I don't remember. It's one of the best-looking DS games I've played so far. And there's not a whole lot to it, so it's not saying it a whole lot, but I think it looked pretty good.
It's not a graphically... I mean, they said they couldn't do it on the original DS. I have my doubts, but it's not that graphically like intense or anything. It's just kind of cartoony versions of the games that you already played. Yeah, kind of like World of Final Fantasy or something like that.
Yeah, like kind of quasi-chibi is what I would put it at. It's almost chibi. It's close.
Yeah, almost chibi. But yeah, Schweiss, is there anything else you want to talk about before we get into questions?
Looking back, I thought it's almost chibi. No, I don't think so. I'm looking forward to the next one to see how many more tracks we can get, because this is a great series, and like, I don't think these necessarily are bad track choices. It's just they're limited in their track counts for the games. At least playing through it the way you did and I did. I know there are extra songs that I can unlock, and I don't know what all of those are, but the songs to represent the games in the challenge mode, that's where you get a little picky. You're like, oh, really, this song over this song kind of a thing? So I'm excited to play Curtain Call to see that larger library of tracks, because the series is nothing if not one of the best soundtracked series of all time. Like, that's one of the best things about it. Yeah. Almost every time. And that's why when I heard there was a Dragon Quest one of these, I was like, really? Like, why?
Only in Japan.
That's the one thing that Final Fantasy I know has over the Dragon Quest is the soundtrack, right? But I'm stoked to see how many more tracks we get next time. But let's see what we have. See what we have as far as questions go.
All right, so quite a few responses this week for questions. So let's go straight into it. These ones are from the forum. I don't twice checking to see if we have any from the forum, from the Twitter. A for Extreme asks, what was your main party lineup? Mine was Lightning, Cloud, Terra, and Squall. Because they were just like, big FF games to me.
Okay, well, mine was Lightning, Cloud, Terra, and Shantoto.
And Shantoto.
Yeah, lately I've been thinking about 11, and I'm like, 11 was a good time. Like I loved the 11. I miss it, and so I was like, Shantoto's coming with me.
But I changed my party when I found out I could just like. When I put certain members in my party, I would get like bonuses. Did it a lot more on the second game, but I did it a little bit in this game as well in order to gain rhythmia. So I would just like switch out whoever was the main character or the main party member. There's like the leader and then like 3 others, so I would change the leader out.
Yeah.
What was your preferred play style? Stylus, button? Look seductively over the top of my glasses, one-handed. I tried it one-handed. That's a fucking possible, and I don't think this game has the button style. I think that's only in Curtain Call.
Yeah, I did stylus. I thought the stylus worked pretty well for the most part. The only time it would suck is when I would you'd be in one of those long-winded notes, and you'd have to drag it up and down, and occasionally I'd hit the fucking border of the screen, and I'd be like, I'd miss it because I didn't have enough room to reach. But that was very rare that would happen.
How do you guys feel about the art style? It's alright. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine for a mobile title.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
It is what it is. Did you guys feel that the game's song lineup was lacking, considering each mainline title gets 1 or maybe 2 of each of the 3 kinds of stage types? That's not true in this one. I think this guy's thinking about Curtain Call. That's what I think is going on here. What did you think of the songs they picked to represent each game, considering that fact? I think we already touched on this. I certainly wish there were more songs. Luckily, the sequel has a lot more songs per game. I did think it was odd. I wish there was there was the battle theme, and then there was a boss theme, and an event, and a map. In a dungeon. I wish there was 5 songs per game. 5 playable, not skippable songs per game.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't dislike the track listings per se. It's more of the fact that there weren't that many. So that's what I kind of missed the most. There's a lot of great songs for the series, and I feel like there were a few that I would have put in there before, but if they would have been there in addition to, I wouldn't have had a single problem with. So,
yeah. Did you guys splurge on any of the DLC?
Hell no.
No. Nope.
That's what we got Curtain Call for, bro.
That's right. Knowing Schweiss's love of points, did it bother either of you that the max score you can achieve on any song is, what is this, 9,999,999?
I would have to have been good enough to actually got that on a song to be irritated by it. So the answer is yes.
Yeah, it should have been 4 digits. Just 9999. Come on, Square.
This game throws points at you like 13 throws points at you.
It does. And those ones don't even match up with my rhythmia, so I don't even know what the fuck those points are for.
Those are just for your grade on the song.
Okay. I thought that more had to do with how much health you lost.
No, the health thing is just based on how you miss, how many times you miss. That's when you take damage.
Oh. Okay. Shinru asks, what did you think of the story introduction? Were you expecting some story when you started this? I expected no story because I had heard there was none.
Yeah, I kind of expected something real light like what we got, so I think it was about right what I was assuming would happen.
I mean, it would have kind of sucked if it was Dissidia heavy cutscene, Dissidia OG Dissidia.
Yeah.
I would not been happy with that one.
No, that would have been painful.
Yes. He asked about the total playtime, which we already answered. Rhythmia collected the bare minimum to get to the final boss. I did 10,000.
Yeah, I've got 10,331 right now because I did a couple songs afterwards.
Do you get all the collector cards? No, I just gathered what I got throughout the thing.
Yeah, same. I just picked up what I could just by trying to get all the S's.
Yeah, that's another like little bonus item gathering thing. Thoughts on the music player you can listen to with your 3DS closed? I never tried to like close. I went into the music player thing and was like, oh, cool, there's a music player. That's fine. I have a phone now. I can just look up these things. I can listen to the better tracks from some of these games.
Yeah. That's a cool feature, though. It's cool. It's just...
Yeah, that's cool. I also think, like, the sound on the speaker of the DS kind of sucks. You would have to plug in your speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. The tinny little external speaker on the 3DS, or my 2DS, is it's not great.
Yeah.
Did you beat the game by getting the credits once you reached 10,000? Yeah, we did. Okay. Did you beat any Dark Notes in Chaos Shrine? I think we answered that. I beat one. Did you try to beat any songs on Ultimate or Expert? I beat a lot of songs on Expert. I only beat one. I was only able to beat one song on Ultimate. I tried a few of them.
Yeah. Same. I did a bunch on... I think I did like 8 or 9 on Expert. I probably could do all of them, but I was focusing on getting the S ranks for the series, and so by the time I got done with that, I didn't have that much more to play to get 10,000. So I was like, all right, let's try out the Chaos, see what this is, and then let's try a few Expert and then a few Ultimate, just to get a taste, and then I was done.
About midway through Curtain Call, I only did Expert, and then when I came back to this game, to gather up the points to beat the game, I only did Expert after that. So
got it.
Expert's just more fun.
It is, yeah. It's almost not fun anymore once you kind of get into the groove of what the game is and what particular things look like. There's no need to play on normal at that point. It's just too easy.
What were your favorite tracks? You know what? There was like I think it's the Rebel theme from FF2 that I was reintroduced to. There's a theme from FF3 I don't know the name of, but they're both fucking awesome. So those are like outside of like my favorite tracks already in the fucking series. Like those were like good reintroductions to like tracks that I hadn't heard in a very long time, frankly.
Yeah. Obviously the favorite tracks of the series are my favorite tracks in the game. So like Terra's theme was up there. One Winged Angel was a lot of fun. But yeah, I agree. I enjoyed the one from 2. 2 has a lot of great tracks in it. And also Ron Fair from 11. That's a fucking beautiful song. And I'm really glad they had it in here.
What songs were you best at playing? Any songs you really mastered? Sunlit Waterscape.
Yeah.
It's not a song I love, or really like that much, but I was just really fucking good at it in this game.
Yeah. I got pretty good with, I guess, Terra's one I was pretty good at, and I like refused to do, I can't remember which track it was, but there was one of them. Oh, it was everything from 12. I was like, I refuse to not get S's on all of these, and so that's what I did. And I did the same thing for FF10. So like any of the ones that I was like, these are my favorite Final Fantasies, I wouldn't leave until I got S on each of the tracks when I was playing through the series mode.
Did you 100% every course in series mode on Basic, Expert, and Ultimate? No.
Yeah.
No. Nope. Did you take time to collect Rhythmia in the OP and ED for series-made courses when the text was rolling? Or just skip the songs? I started skipping the songs about midway through because I was like, half the preludes are nearly the same. I didn't know about the having to gain Rhythmia in order to beat the final boss, so I would have done that if I had known that.
Yeah, I ended up doing it, and it's because I knew that. So I skipped it the first few times, and then I was like, no, this is free Rhythmia, pretty much, because it's really easy. And so I just started doing it.
What do you think of the EMS tracks with the actual gameplay or scenes from the game? So you can go back and watch those in like a theater mode, right? His fun fact is that these ones in this game are not in curtain call. I didn't know that. I didn't notice it.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, but like I don't have time to be looking at that kind of stuff. So it's almost borderline distracting and unnecessary just because you're trying to do this difficult timing game and you can't be fucking around with all this shit flying up on your screen. It's a cool thing though, but I don't know.
So what was your favorite EMS track? I think Theme of Love was one of them, and that's the one I also did the ultimate mode in, or whatever.
Yeah.
Just love that piece of music from 4.
I think Rebel Army was one. That one was really good. And then I really liked Terra's theme as the EMS theme as well. Although the thing is like there's... Or no, EMS, that was Celis's theme. That's right. That one was a lot of fun, too. And I don't know. I kind of like the EMS ones a lot. The only one I didn't care for, like Aerith's theme. I like Aerith's theme from 7, but it's not one of my favorite themes from that game. So I guess that one. And then Suteki Dene. It was a good video, and the stuff going on in the background was cool, but... I don't know. I'm kind of like mixed on that song.
Did you know that all of the DLC from this game was just included in Curtain Call, except for the FF15 song Somnus, which is still called FF Versus 13 in this game, and is rare and exclusive only to this version? The answer to that is no, I did not, but now everybody knows.
That's right.
There you go.
There we go.
What character and abilities did you use the most? Libra and Treasure Hunter are so good. You get them to level 99? I didn't use fucking any. There we go.
Yeah, no.
What characters didn't you unlock? I don't think I unlocked any in this game. I unlocked some characters in the second game.
Yeah, I'm working on unlocking them, I guess, but nothing has been unlocked for me either. Just the ones that it gives you.
Oh, and Chaos is unlocked, I think. Maybe that was only in the second game. Fuck, dude. This is why we do one at a time.
This is exactly why I didn't start Curtain Call. It's because I'm like, okay, these games are way too fucking similar. I'm not going to do this. So anytime that Joe says something and I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know that. What it really is Curtain Call.
Says you need 10,000 Rhythmia to complete the game, but 45,000 Rhythmia to unlock every secret song. And he's wondering if we unlocked any secret songs.
I unlocked...
I think I did, but I didn't play him.
Yeah, I unlocked the Kefka one, the Dancing Mad. That was a bonus unlock. His final question, this is a fun game to just play for a few minutes, put down, and then pick up at any time, right? Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what it's for.
This is one of those games that I can see myself just playing, like just having it at work, and then I go on my 15-minute break and I just whip it out, play like 3 or 4 FF songs, and call it good. If I weren't going to be bombarded with DS games in the very near future for this very podcast, that would probably happen.
I think that if you were a listener of Nude Clan and you wanted something to quickly do Hage blog on, to beat very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where it's at. And if you're here and
pick
there,
that up every year.
Yeah, and if you're here and there, you must love FF. So it's a great callback. So
we have questions from Black Mage Justin. Asks, since rhythm games were huge, what feels like ages ago? I don't think it feels like ages ago, but did you find this game had anything to add to the genre, or that is for the most part dead? It added FF music.
Yeah.
I'd say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool to have it on the DS. I don't know what other rhythm games are on the DS. So
yeah, and I mean, it's kind of like playing Rock Band on PSP, because that's what my PSP before it was stolen from me. I bought the Rock Band PSP because it had the largest memory stick duo on the market, like base in the base console. And I played that on there a little bit, and like it seems kind of dumb to play it without the guitar, but like I don't know, it was still kind of a fun little rhythm thing. So I guess it kind of added to it. I think honestly, like Joe said, the thing that it added most is that I actually like almost every track that I'm playing, as opposed to Rocksmith when I get to the Radiohead track and I want to fucking gouge my ears out and never hear again because it's just 5 minutes of fucking noise. Nothing like that. Thankfully. Okay. If it would have had the S-Star theme, I'd be singing a different tune right now, but it doesn't.
Boop, boop, boop. I don't even think it has it in current call, thank God. Okay, he asks, would you play a big, clunky, stupid plastic instrument version of this? Sure, if we had to, but we don't.
I think it'd be cool, and he asks later, do we see it being ported to systems like the PS4? No. But I think it'd be cool if they did that, and then you just had like a pad, like one of those artist pads that our buddy Caleb Craig had, and you just like plug it in, and you can draw shit with the pad, and it shows up in the program on the computer. Like something a little bigger, so that you have a little more range for those bullshit like mountainous region parts of the songs. Something like that on a bigger screen. I could see them creating something like that for it if they brought it to a more modern console, and I could see myself enjoying that quite a bit, because then you could truly just sit back and just have this thing, on your fucking massive stomach and just have it rested up, and just play on that big old screen.
He is also asking us if we have a Dave Mustaine DLC, because we have an in with him. The answer, unfortunately, is no. Dave Mustaine's, me and him aren't talking. He wasn't happy about my laptop getting stolen, so...
Yeah.
It hasn't really been, yeah.
I mean, Joe's instruments were stolen, too, and I mean, how is Joe supposed to help Megadeth out if he doesn't have any instruments? So
that's true, yeah. So it's gonna be a little while before me and Dave Mustaine are in contact again.
Yeah, Dave goes...
We will be, believe me, I'll reach out eventually. But
Dave goes years in these kind of stints, okay? Years.
Here's hoping the 13th Cross sells for like $100,000, because then I'll be able to afford it.
Yeah, and then and then of course we're gonna have like later down the road he's gonna make his own Final Fantasy podcast that's gonna not quite be as big as ours, and then he's just like, it keeps happening again and again.
Yes. Lastly, is it worth the time? I think so. It's not much of a time commitment, so fuck it. Yeah, hell yeah, it's worth the time. It's a fun game.
Yeah, it's a good time. Any of these FFs on the DS, other than Crystal Chronicles, which I know is like half of them, they're a good time.
Yeah, there you go. Rude Rose asks, did you have any on the Twitter, by the way?
No, I didn't see anything on Twitter.
Okay. I thought they might have replied to your post, but I guess they just went into the straight up in the forums. Okay, that works. Rude Rose has our last three questions then. It says, howdy, gents. I don't own a Game Boy Advance or whatever this plays on. 3DS. But I'm a massive FF fan and, of course, adore the music. Is this game worth purchasing that system for, or am I better off just listening to the songs? I think in combination with Curtain Call, you can get the 2DS used. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, my 3DS, I bought it used for $80. You've got this. I think Chocobo Tales is another one of those really fun games that you should play. I would get it for that. I would get it for Tactics Advance 2 or A2. Okay. Excuse me. That's a really fun game. It's fucking brutal at the end, but it's a lot of fun to play. The DS has a surprisingly quality selection of Final Fantasy titles, so just for those, I would say totally pick it up.
I think so. I think it's not just this game. It'd be in combination with other stuff. And there's classic Nintendo games. Because you could play everything from I think it's from the Game Boy, or at least the Game Boy Advance. You can play everything from there to the 3DS. Just that big, wide range of titles. Like classic remakes you can buy in the store and shit like that.
Yeah, you can buy. I
got Zelda. I got fucking Pokemon Yellow on my DS.
Exactly.
Like, fucking yeah, it's totally worth. It's worth it.
Yeah, dude,
totally worth it.
You need this. This is a fun little handheld. It's a good time.
It's a great console. It might be the best console, actually. The 3DS might, in fact, be the best console because it's backwards compatible and has a huge marketplace with a shitload of games. And the game selection is just amazing. It might be the greatest console of all time.
I don't know about that, but it is good. It is
Not
good.
in and of itself, its own, like, if you only had to go against the 3DS library against other consoles, no.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's got the library of 7 consoles in there.
That's true. Yeah, that's the argument with PS3 versus PS2 because all the great PS2 games were remastered to PS3. So it's like, well, I mean,
like a huge library of NES, Super NES, Nintendo 64, and then we have Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, and Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah, you'll pay for it.
Come on.
You'll pay for them. Oh, don't worry, but it's there, so it's good.
Fuck, man.
It's fucking
great,
good, dude.
Fucking console.
And Zelda with save states. Man, perfect.
Yeah, there's save states as well for the old games. That is good.
Yeah.
Are there any songs you felt should have been in the game that were omitted? Yes, and
I don't know about omitted, but they just didn't put them in there. It wasn't like, well, we had it, and then we were like, fuck you. You're not getting this 7 map theme. You're getting the map theme before Meteor's coming. But yeah,
I just find it kind of funny that like the meeting was a Dissidia meeting that decided the most popular songs amongst the staff, and they didn't think about what fans would want, and they didn't like reconsider their choices. It's just an odd song selection process for them, and it makes sense that they made bad decisions in the Dissidia meetings because that proved to be what they almost entirely did, as far as like story and shit is concerned in Dissidia. All bad decisions.
Yeah.
It's a joke, guys. It's a joke. All right. Well, Schweiss, we got reviews from our listeners, and we'll get into our overall, and we'll do our rankings.
All right, sounds good. So, first up for listener reviews, good friend of the show, A4 Extreme, says Theatrhythm Final Fantasy is an excellent music game, celebrating the Final Fantasy series, up to 13 at least, and acting as great fan service for longtime fans or those who just adore the acclaimed soundtracks of these games. It's surprising that whoever Square Enix got to develop this, they were not only able to make a good rhythm game based on Final Fantasy, but at the higher levels, a challenging one too, which is more than I can say for other music games based on JRPGs. I'm looking at you, Persona 4, Dancing All Night. Despite this game's lackluster song lineup, in hindsight compared to Curtain Call, there's still a lot here to keep your thumbs busy. This is thanks to the surprisingly deep RPG mechanics and completionist elements, such as the collector cards, and getting critical on every note and every song on every difficulty. The Chaos Shrine mode helps satisfy those looking for more than just casual play, with the added bonus of being able to get dark notes from Street Pass. It's a great rhythm game whether you like the music of Final Fantasy or not, and it's simple enough in its design that those who are used to RPGs can pick this up and have fun, even if they don't know their way around a Guitar Hero controller or a DDR dance pad. The only slight against this is that it's easily overshadowed by its sequel, Curtain Call.
Sorry, which one? You were reading A for Extreme's review, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, A for Extreme. Shinru says, when this came out, I was so excited because I never thought something like this would be created. And honestly, the whole thing just feels perfect. Placing your favorite FF songs in like a rhythm RPG game on the go. What's not to like? I sunk hours and hours into it, trying to beat songs on the hardest modes, feeling nostalgic and reliving memories from the gameplay and CGI videos, remembering great songs I forgot about, and just getting back into the FF music. Plus, you had a music player you could listen to every song when your DS was closed in sleep mode. Okay, that's what he meant by close. Okay, cool. I didn't know you could do that. So it was like a mini FF music player. At the time, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10 just because you could tell it was their first try at the game. It was a little bare bones at the time. Even with the DLC content, there weren't many options or modes. Still, this is a game that kind of flew under the radar for many people. If you pre-ordered, you got a special FF stylus and stickers. Stylus is the only way to play this accurately, so people really tried to get the official FF one. Nintendo one is fine too. That's the one I use.
Yeah, same.
I think Square Enix was surprised at how popular this got, and this is only like one of the 3 FF games released on the 3DS, and the first FF game to be released on it, so I think that they were just being naive. Great game to pick up and play, but Curtain Call is better because of all the new content and features. This game is special, though, because it does 3 things that Curtain Call erases. Series mode is gone, so you can't play the FF10 series from start to finish with an opening, prelude, and ending D. He does OP. He says OP and ED with a nice CG cutscene for it in Curtain Call, like you can in this game. All EMS songs in this are gone in Curtain Call. Final Fantasy Versus 13 Somnus song is an exclusive and never released again. It's a DLC on the shop. So if you are a collector, I recommend picking this up and playing both. It's a must for FF fans.
Well, thank you very much, Shinru. Once again.
Thank you.
This last one here is from Felicia No Miko. I love music games, and these 2 games are no exception. Theatrhythm is good, Curtain Call is better. The music is fantastic in both games, obviously, but Curtain Call has way more songs, and the quest mode adds a lot more to the game than the Dark Notes did. The gameplay is where these games shine for me. They have one of the best uses of the touchpad that she's ever seen, and it's not even required. You can play with the stylus and touchpad with the buttons and stick, or a combination of both. That playstyle versatility alone makes it a really well thought out game. As for the way one interacts with the music, it's a really fun and creative way to do it, and while it takes a bit to get the hang of, I really love it. Having said that, and having put way too many hours into this game, it does have a couple of flaws in my opinion. It has a few too many screens between songs. Every time you finish a song, you have to wait through several screens. I think some of those could have been combined or flat out eliminated. When just playing songs in the music stages, there are 5 separate screens to get through after each song. Then the pick a new song and play the song again screen could be taken out entirely. Just a lot of clicks to get to the next song. That's very true. That is really annoying. Mm-hmm. My only other gripe is the lack of the preludes in Curtain Call. I really love the prelude song, and I would be super happy to have each and every version in Curtain Call, or hell, even one. I'd love to go through them and see how they've changed over the games, just like I can do with the battle songs. Why they took that song out, I'll never know, but it's the one glaring omission in this game for me. I think this comes from us telling them we're going to beat both of them and review both of them. So this is kind of our fault. Fuck it, though. Other than that, I love the game. Just love it. The difficulty modes are wonderfully scaled. Basic is just that, a good basic intro to the song. And what would you call them? Notes, taps, interactions? Let's go with notes. Are well spaced for the beginner to get the hang of the game. Also good for getting a feel for unfamiliar songs. Expert is where she spent most of her time, and it's a good challenge. The notes come quickly, but not so fast that you're frantic or anything. Plays Genova and One-Winged Angel the most. By far, they are just so much fun on Expert. Ultimate is batshit insane. Notes fly at you like a hurricane in that mode. I can pass a couple of songs with high-level characters and luck. Mostly, it kicks my ass and laughs at me. Very well scaled. I mostly play in the music stages, but I do like the quests. I enjoy being forced to play outside my favorite 10 songs, and you have to quest a fair bit to get all the characters, which will take a good bit of time.
The questing is part of the second game.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So ultimate scores associated with that. Bottom line, this is a great game that any FF music lover with an ounce of rhythm should get. It's worth it.
Yep. All right. Well, Schweiss, I'll start with my overall thoughts, and then I'll let you finish it up.
Okay.
My overall thought with the original Theatrhythm game. It's very good. It feels like, like what Shinru said, it's like they're like testing the waters almost, not only with the console, but also with this idea, like this retrospective-y idea. Obviously, they were playing at this time. I mean, Dissidia predates this a little bit, but obviously they're messing with the idea of looking at the Final Fantasy series as like a legacy series that the company can then capitalize on and make these other little games that kind of look back on the series in a wide way. And they cast their net kind of wide on the entire series.
Yeah.
I think they were obviously trying with this one. I think that they then decided that just like with Dissidia, they did 012 and they did Theatrhythm Curtain Call. They expanded on both those ideas in the next game, but this is a pretty good effort. It's a really intuitive gameplay design. The story doesn't get in your way like Dissidia does, so in that comparison, it fares much better. And overall, like good choices in the music. I just wish there were more, and we get more in the later series, obviously. And I wish I had played some multiplayer. Didn't know how that would work. I had to do like Street Pass or some shit like that. I don't even know what the fuck that is. But that's just my ignorance completely. But I enjoyed it. It's a fun little time waster of a game, and that's what it's made for. It's made for little breaks. It's so nice to have played. I played fucking 4 games in a row that I got stuck some bullshit way in. Before this thing, it was so nice to get to a couple games that were just like they were just fun. They were just fun.
Yeah.
It's too bad they last so much. They last so much shorter. I guess they're just so much shorter than the games that are like not fun and fuck you. So that's the sad part here is that the fun games I always get done with super quick. So. That's my only gripe. The Final Fantasy series.
Yeah, the fun ones are too fast.
It's a fun game. And there's so much extra content that you could just like make this kind of like your default. I'm gonna waste time for like a year. Not for like it, but like during a year, you keep this in your desk at your office or something like that. And like this is the game you use to cool down at lunch, like. There's so many things to do, and it expands in the second one, but there's a fuckload of things to do in this one, so it's a good game. Good game. I liked it.
Yeah. I think it's a great game. I think if you have a DS and you don't have this game, you are doing it wrong. And if you like Final Fantasy for listening to us, this is a game that you should play. It's a lot of fun. I found the tracks enjoyable enough. I think the gameplay is very intuitive, very intelligently put together. It's a well-made well-oiled little machine here with this Theatrhythm. I can't say whether or not Curtain Call should be the go-to versus this game, but what I can say is that I was genuinely surprised by how much fun I had. And I had a couple other people play it, or I talked about playing it, and now... my buddy at work wants to play it too. He told me like a few days after I let him play it during one of our breaks. He's like, "Man, I kind of really want to play that Theatrhythm game right now." It's like it was just fun. And I was like, "Yeah, I know. It's nothing but fun. That's what it's all about, And Craig wants to play it too. So like it's a great little time, And even if you only have 10 or 15 minutes at a time to play this thing, it's totally worth it. It's almost made to be played that way. So I'm excited to get to Curtain Call and see what they were able to improve, add on, and what they might not have hit quite as well with this game. But I think this is a solid game, and I'm glad I played it for this podcast. I'm glad we didn't just do Curtain Call, because this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it was only a couple hours, so like it's not like it was a huge time commitment.
Yeah, it's like 7. It's like 7 hours. Like that's nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, the only thing we didn't touch on was like the legacy of the game. I would say that it has certainly been overshadowed by Curtain Call. I never hear anyone talking about this. I only hear people talking about Curtain Call. But this is a really fun game, so pick it up anyway.
Yeah, do it. do it. I'm sure there's a lot that Curtain Call has that this one also has, but we know they're not the same game, so
yeah, there you go.
Pick them both up.
So we'll do rankings next time on both the games. We'll probably beat it. I'm gonna guess we're gonna have both of us beat it by next week. Either way, we'll put up a question thing. We'll put up a question reminder on Twitter. You can ask questions on Twitter, replying to that link, or you can go onto our forums at ultimafinalfantasy.com to give your opinions on this game, as well as ask us questions for Theatrhythm Curtain Call. And then we'll be following that up with Mystic Quest, and then we'll be following that up with 3 very massive FF games after these 3 very short FF games.
Yes. So
I have... So Schweiss, after Curtain Call, I have looked up the how long to beat time.
Okay.
For all the games. Now, Caleb Craig has claimed that World of Final Fantasy shouldn't take us more than 15 hours. I believe he said 15 or 20, right?
Yeah.
That was Caleb Craig's estimate. He's not very good with time as a person, so I don't know if his memory is very good as far as how long it took him to beat World of FF. But the estimated time on that is 36 hours. And
okay.
So the total amount of time between Mystic Quest, 4 Heroes of Light, Explorers, and World of Final Fantasy is about 105 hours.
Okay. 105.
Yeah. So before June 27th, we have to get through 105 hours of Final Fantasy.
All right.
Which I don't think is too bad. Not for me. I've kind of refocused everything. It's the movie, we're almost done with the edit. At least an edit that we're going to be showing people stuff with. And then we got that deadline on the Final Fantasy stuff, and I think I'll probably take a 1-month break from video games as a whole and focus after that, after we finish the show's weekly version. Before I plunge back into 14, I'll probably take a little bit of a break.
You sure about that, Joe?
But actually, 13th Cross's edit is my number 1 priority right now, but actually my number 2 priority is finishing these fucking games. So I'm going to beat these games by that time, for sure.
You know what? The only hard part is that 14's expansion comes out the day after we get back from KupoCon, which is right after we're finishing.
I know. So if you want to play that right afterwards, that's fine, but I'm going to take a break before I go into that game. So that's up to you.
But
we'll probably play it with... I'll come back in and play it with some listeners.
We would be so close, though. That would be the one, That's the one that's left. Can you truly leave that thread hanging?
I can. I can, man. I love ending on World of FF. As far as the weekly shows, that feels like a good spot to end. So I'm kind of that's what I'm going for, man.
Yeah, and
right there.
it's not like we can... With 14, it's not like every time a new Final Fantasy comes out, we're going to, kick back the weekly show again, No.
It's
just going to be, if they release 16, it's okay, well, let's both play some 16, and when we finish it, we'll review it. And that's how our world will be.
At some point, I'll have to take a vacation in Utah, this fall or something. We'll have to fucking, watch the rest of Unlimited. So, we still have things that, I'm a completionist, man. That's what I'm all about. Not completionist as in, extreme completion, but, finishing. And there's things that are hanging out for this show. There's a Dave Mustaine version of a song that was obviously cut short for reasons we've already discussed on this episode. There's a certain radio drama we haven't done yet that I've only worked on just a little bit. And then there's the commentaries for Unlimited. Obviously, we're not going to... Until we only have one copy of that fucking thing, so... We kind of have to, we have to be together in order to get that done. So we have things over the next couple years that it'll be more than just game reviews, but
yeah.
So there'll be content. It just won't be as it just won't be weekly anymore.
No.
But yeah. That's my own personal life things. I want to get to that point. Now, this might turn out to be a Joe plan. I really fucking hope it doesn't, because there's been a lot of Joe plans on this podcast. I hear myself making them in the past. I get really excited about goals, and then even if I come up a little short, it's still I get pretty close. So I'm excited to get through these last. I got after Mystic Quest. There's just 3 games left. So they're 3 long games. One of them's supposed to be pretty hard.
Yeah, some people are saying you're going to hate your life when you're playing that one. I think that's the one right after, too, because that's the oldest one.
It's 4 Heroes of Light is supposed to be a very difficult game.
Yeah. Can't wait.
So I might be playing a guide through 4 Heroes of Light just to stop myself from going nuts. I'm not doing it in Mystic Quest because I don't need to, but I think I might. I think because I've looked it up and I looked up how difficult it was supposed to be. Explorers is supposed to be easy, and World of FF is supposed to be easy, but 4 Heroes of Light is supposed to be really brutal.
Yeah, I just hope we get to play Explorers with each other, because I know it's like a Monster Hunter clone, and those are all about playing in a group. So I think that'd be awesome, but I don't know anything about it yet, and I don't want to until we get to it. I like it to be as organic as possible, That's a great way to excuse your laziness when it comes to these things. I just want it to be organic. I just want it to be. I want it to feel like I figure it out as it goes along. And it's well, why didn't you read that news piece? It's well, it's just want to be organic with it. What's so wrong about that?
All right, well. Check out our website, guys. You can tweet me at Joseph DeGolier.
Tweet me at UFF Podcast.
You can support us on Patreon. We really appreciate it. Thank you to all of our patron donors. We'll be in KupoCon on June 29th, 28th, 30th. One of those things. It's in fucking New Jersey. You can look it up. Come join us there, because we'll be there no matter what. We got our fucking plane tickets. We got our hotel booked. We're going.
Yeah.
And so come join us for our last episode or last slew of episodes. I'm not sure how we're going to do it yet, but we'll figure it out. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. I have to go to work, so we got to wrap this up. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Yeah, until then, as always, enjoy the grind.